Welcome to a Drop Tent Media production.
Hey guys, I'm Jesse Dram, and you are listening to the Magical Misery Tour, where funny people discuss life's unfunniest things. Our guest this week is Larry West, good friend of mine. He is a local politician, elected official, an artist. We get into a lot of stuff, a lot of the political partisanship happening these days. We talk about the Geiger case down in Texas with the off-duty police officer who shot somebody in his apartment. You can look at some of his stuff coming up. You can find him at Mark Skull on Twitter, at LarryWestProductions.com, where you can catch up some of his artwork. He is also on the board for the Mount Airy Art Garage. You want to check them coming up at the Darksome Art Fair. That is September 26th, October 26th. I don't know. Did I say August? September. Well, it's not that anymore. It's October. That's the Darksome Art Fair. Get out there. Check out all details on MountAiryArtGarage.com. We'll see you at the show. Hello and welcome to the Magical Misery Tour, where funny people discuss life's unfunniest things. With me, as always, is my host and director of photography, Neil Wood. Neil, how you doing?
Hey, buddy. I sound different this week. No, hey, buddy, how are you?
Looking good. I like your alt-right.
You're looking good?
I like your alt-right haircut.
Yeah. There's not a lot of choices for me this time.
It is funny that it got labeled an alt-right haircut, but at the same time, it is like the most popular haircut right now.
It's just a military hair. It's not. It's a fade military. That's all it is.
Did you steal that from Richard Spencer or something?
Guests don't speak before they're spoken to. So we will address you when we feel like it.
Yeah.
Please continue, my little alt-right friend.
I'm just.
Apparently we're all right now. But you ponytail weirdo.
I mean, ponytail is the second alt-right haircut.
Yeah, it is.
This is the number one. It's because we're being led around by the other. I'm going to step in
Please
something.
Do.
Right?
Please stop.
I might have been almost ready to say the mongrel races.
Jesus. This is good. This is a great way to start.
Oh,
we can cut all that out.
Yep. Our guest this week. He is an elected official who is already regretting being on this podcast and a political agitator of all sorts. My friend and your new friend, Mr. Larry West. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Thanks for having me on. Yes, I've already regretted it 5 seconds ago.
Yeah. That's okay. That's fine. You're a Republican, aren't you?
I used to be a Republican, and then I gained my common sense.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Take that, uncles everywhere. What do you know?
No, I used to be a Republican for about a few years. Mm-hmm. Is this close enough? I always feel that weird about this.
Yeah, you should be good.
Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah. All right.
You can move it. You can move it. Yeah,
better.
you can.
Yes.
There you go,
feel free to move it.
So yeah, I was Republican for a while. I switched so I could vote for Ron Paul in 2012 primaries.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got elected as a Republican committee person in 2014.
Okay.
Interesting fact about that, I wrote myself in so I could get the job. And then the day I found out was very interesting. I'm coming home from work. Mm. I'm on my skateboard, and I get hit by a car. And I fractured a finger and a toe. So I'm in
hey, this doesn't sound that weird. I'm pretty sure this is how Mitt Romney got elected to Senate. So continue.
So I get fractured and everything. I'm in the hospital. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I can't move. I had my friends help me get home and everything. I get home, open up my mail. You have been elected Republican committee person.
And there you go.
Yeah, I did that for 4 years. And
He really fell into the job.
I really did.
What are we doing here?
We're just a couple of guys having fun on a Sunday night.
We're just silly.
We're giving this away for free.
This is a
You
nightmare.
could say the job took me by surprise.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, no, I did that.
So you were in agony. Continue. I apologize.
It's okay. I'm used to it. So yeah, no, I did that. I spent the entire time trying to make things better. I figured, okay, I'm not a Democrat for a reason. It's because Philadelphia Democratic Party is very corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do something to reform it. And I think maybe another party is the way to do it. So I'm doing whatever I can to kind of push us a little bit more towards maybe we could win something. And the final straw was basically 2018. Now, 2016, I'll mention this real quick because I can just go on
Okay.
and on.
What, did something big happen in 2016? I don't keep up with things.
I know. I mean, something happened. I can't remember what. But I do know it resulted in a lot of people crying and me actually consoling someone the day
It's
after.
Avengers. I think Avengers came. Which one came out?
Oh, that was people were very. I mean, the snap. That was
Right.
that was
No,
later.
Hail Hydra. All right, continue. I apologize.
Okay.
So yeah, like the day after the election, I actually had I almost didn't come to work that day because I was so upset, and everyone I knew was upset. And I talked to a friend of mine. He said, "Okay, we'll meet up for lunch," and that's what we did. And that's the reason I even made it to work the following day. So I'm on the way to the train station. I'm still a Republican committee person though, and I see someone, and they're really upset, and I said, "I'll just give you a hug." Like I hug people, I talk to people, and then there were the hate crimes afterwards, and I saw the party. The Philadelphia GOP was just, we got nothing to do with this. We didn't do this. It could be Democratic agitators. And I'm going, that's the worst way to respond to this. Even if you don't think it was someone in your party, even if you don't think it was something caused by the now leader of your party, fine. You can at least say that's not okay. This is messed up.
What were the hate crimes happening around the city at that time? I'm really just plead ignorant. I don't know. I know on a national level there were some.
Oh God, no, there were a few. There was the Jewish cemetery had tombstones knocked over.
I remember that. Okay.
But
okay.
I think the one that happened like right after the election was a bunch of windows got vandalized with like swastikas and Trump is bad and all this other stuff. And that turned out to be not a Republican but a Democrat, but it was like someone who had a mental problems. And it was just sad, but to the point like
I believe the medical definition is libtard. Mental libtardation. I'm sorry.
I don't have the mic. I don't have the camera on you, so technically, we can deny it.
Okay,
You
perfect.
said it.
That's all I need.
I think. I'm not sure how it works.
you got your
So,
plausible deniability going, huh?
so
exactly.
pulling up, now this is just NBC News, but this was the report after that. Hate crimes in the 9 U.S. metropolitan areas rose more than 20% last year, fueled by inflamed passions during the presidential campaign and more willingness for victims to step forward and lead to hate crime.
And the
research
photo there is
on Monday.
specifically from Mount Carmel Cemetery, the Jewish one that was vandalized.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, you're good. I mean, I don't know. This probably takes too long to get through, but yeah, that's just talking about New York reported greatest number of hate crimes at 380 and 24% increase from 2015 at that time, while Washington, D.C. had the largest percentage rise of 62% to 107 incidents.
Okay.
It's insane.
Yeah, so it's a fair amount. Now they're not going through what those are exactly, because that'll probably be a deep dive and we can get into that stuff. But New York City alone, there were 55 anti-Semitic crimes reported from January 1st to March 5th of this year. This being the 2016 in which they're
Right.
speaking about this. So yeah, sorry. So continue. Yeah,
That's all right.
there's
What did
more
you
info
think?
there.
Did you think leading up that he had any chance? What did you think going into that election in 2016?
Until they announced the results, I didn't think he had a chance.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, the only people who did were people who were much smarter than me, like Michael Moore, and a few other folks. Like, they called it. And the thing is, like, I'm in my bubble. Like, everyone I know is in their own little bubble in one way or another. Like, even in Republican circles, I thought the Philly GOP is like, oh, we're gonna win. I'm like, yeah. Right.
Well,
Sure.
part of it's a little bit like, do you really want to win with this guy is like your main thing? If this guy is setting the table for years to come now,
Yeah, exactly.
because that's definitely what happened.
And that's the thing, like before the 2016 election, not even the primary. Like I have to say the primary. I started seeing it then. So the primaries were taking place, and I started seeing something in the Philly GOP. We had John Kasich running for president, and I thought John Kasich's awesome. Like he's a moderate Republican. He's exactly what you think of. Everyone else is just kind of rather not.
Wasn't he Romney's VP ticket? Somebody like that? I know
No.
his name.
Right. No, he wasn't Romney's VP ticket. I can't remember who was Romney's VP. I mean, people barely remember Tim Kaine was Hillary Clinton's
Right.
running
Yeah,
mate
and
in
I was
2016.
actively trying to remember that when you were saying it.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to be the case.
I remember I was watching the election with my girlfriend at the time, and she was just like, I'm just really worried he's going to win. Like, he's not going to win. What are you
Right.
talking about? And like, Michigan and Wisconsin. Ew. That's a little. Yeah, no. We're still Ohio. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Also, I want to say that I did go to vote for Hillary that day, but apparently I had never been formally registered. So apologies for Trump. It was all my fault.
You fool!
I knew it was me.
No, but it's like up to the primaries. Like we had a big field, about 16 candidates. Like, okay, Trump is not going to get it, and he was just hilarious. I even wrote a letter after the election in 2016. I'm jumping all over the place, but after 2016, I wrote a letter about this. But I kept thinking, okay, maybe the crazy person won't win. But then I started seeing something in local politics, and it was disturbing. And you know, I normally go on like forever about all this stuff, and I know I can't.
Get into it now. I'm gonna reel you in a second.
All right. So what I started to see was the party stopped being about traditional conservatism. And I want to say this now. I'm a raging liberal. I've been a raging liberal. But I was like, you know what? Sure. It's better than corrupt Democrats. Maybe we can do something here, and maybe there's an inroad kind of thing.
Right.
So it went about being classic conservatism that I didn't always agree with, but I could at least deal with, to, you know, illegal immigrants are everywhere. You know, they're coming to get you. Like it became more about the far right stuff than anything else.
It became more tribalist.
It really did.
I would definitely say.
Yeah, I think it was building. I think the tribalism was built. I mean, we were always, if you were thinking about Jimmy Dore and liberals, now they're just people who are just like, the whole thing is corrupt. I mean, we were all kind of going there. We're like, all right, two parties sucks. It's just two parties. This is ridiculous. It's been like that forever since the League of Women Voters.
I still think the huge thing that fucking started that was, number one, you had the contested election in 2000, immediately followed by 9/11.
Sure.
Like, without those two things, I don't think we get as split as we are. If not for the fact that we saw, like, you know, when the stakes were the absolute highest and which way we went. I think that pissed off a lot of people. Obviously, going into a fucking war, shit like that.
Yeah, and you know, that was a weird thing. Like, I was thinking about this on the 18th anniversary of 9/11. I thought about a bunch of things. One thing that stuck out in my mind was like, oh my God, there are now people who are going to be able to vote who never experienced 9/11 like I did, and that's a mind-blowing thing.
Well, if we're just talking about political elections, I mean, I think a big reason we got fucking Trump is we had a bunch of Bernie bros who were too young to remember fucking Nader in 2000.
Oh,
it's exactly the same.
Go ahead.
No, you're please.
I was going to say, I've argued with people about this, and you know, sometimes they agree, sometimes they disagree. Yes and no. I gotta say yes and no. Like, yes, in the sense that, yeah, there were definitely some people who said, okay, I guess I'm gonna vote for Trump. I can't tell you how many of my liberal friends were like, oh, the Bernie bros.
No, I'm saying specifically liberals who were very in favor of Sanders who wouldn't vote for Clinton. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, well, you're
right.
Just like the people who voted for Nader in Florida who would have otherwise voted for Gore, but like, I want this one, and ended up, you know, fucking up the whole soup.
You're having the same decisions with the third party candidate who didn't want to go with Bernie or Hillary, thinking they're all their crazy ideas, and they went with either Jill Stein or Larry, help me out here. It's who was the other libertarian? The other libertarian was
Gary Johnson.
Gary Johnson. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
So this whole thing now, I just the conservative friends, you know, I'm finding more of like the conservative. I don't even know if we would call them. We need to change all our terms. It's like conservative people who voted for Trump.
Oh yeah. And that's what it should come down to, because a lot of people consider me conservative. It's like, no, I am very liberal. I just find a lot of other liberals very annoying.
Sure. Yeah.
Right center. Right leaning at worse.
I like the thing now that, like, if they're like, you know, you know, I don't have to like everything he says, you know, but I did vote for him. I was like, but I voted for him. I don't like everything he says. And that's kind of now the new thing I'm hearing. Like, I hear a lot of people say, they're like, well, okay, do you support him? I mean, if you support him and you support everything, I don't have to support everything. I was like, okay, but he's an absolutist.
Right.
That's the problem we find ourselves in now, right? Like, he has never been like, my bad, like, for anything.
Exactly, yeah.
So if you're saying
that
he
wrong.
Right, he always thinks he's right, and no matter what he does. So even if you don't agree with what he's saying, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It does. Yeah. There's no middle, as my uncle would say. There's, you know, no one's everyone's hot or cold now. There's no warm anymore. People are like that weird dividing line. But I mean, so your whole like transition over into like conservatism and, you know, it's you know, core beliefs just being basically right. It was always just family, but not like crazy. They weren't pushing it on you, but they stood to hold those things dear. Was right. It was like family, traditional kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then of course, I mean, it's like fiscally conservative. And then I mean, so how did you find getting into that party when that switch came over? And then what happened after? You're like 2016, everyone's getting strained. You guys are all just like, he can't be. No, this is what we want. He's infallible, and we're doing everything correct. And Russia,
That's kind of what it was. Like I said, I've always been a liberal too.
Right.
I guess joined because it was better than whatever was going on.
Right,
But that being said, like it went from moderate conservatism to far right stuff, and and then they kept. And here's the thing: the Philadelphia GOP, after Trump won, they realized something. They saw the numbers for Trump were up. Like they had more people vote for that Republican candidate than any other candidate in years ahead.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh wow, I guess this works. So 2017 comes, they're doubling down on that and using that kind of terminology. 2018 comes, they're doubling down, they're working with that.
Right.
Krasner was elected in what, 17 or 18? 17.
Wait, which one?
Larry Krasner, the district attorney.
Oh God, it's been a lot of changeover.
I thought Larry Krasner was the guy who molested all those gymnasts.
No, that was
Larry Stick Together. It was not that Larry.
It was Coach.
What other? No, it was.
It was some guy with last name Kras. Oh no, it wasn't Larry. Larry's don't stick together. If there's a bad Larry, we kick them out.
Right. So that was.
I was way the fuck off. Who the fuck is the gymnast toucher?
Jack Bardo.
I don't think that's
No. Oh man, why did you divert us to this? This is.
I'm sorry. We need to know this.
Larry Nassar.
Okay, that's pretty fucking close.
I get you.
Yeah, that
wrong, but close. Yeah, good job, buddy.
You were the one
All
who
right.
said Larry stick together. What? Are you not allowed anywhere near a pommel horse? Just checking.
We have two rules. Larry's largely stick together. We kick you out if you do something like that.
Okay, good. So Larry Nassar no longer in the club for Larry's.
No, he's not.
Okay.
His name's Jerk now.
There you
Jerk
go.
face.
I honestly.
Lawrence S. Kasner was it?
Yes.
Kasner. Yes, is an American lawyer.
right.
Served as the 26th district attorney of Philadelphia. Kasner was elected to the position in 2017.
Okay, so 2017. Here's what
I am
happened.
doing work today.
You are.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Okay, so 2017 comes around. They're high off their their win the previous year. So they run Beth Grossman, who is totally in favor of civil forfeiture, which ironically enough, a giant article came out saying the city of Philadelphia had used the program horribly wrong for a very long time.
Okay, let's pretend that I'm an idiot. We're pretending here.
That you don't.
Civil forfeiture
Yes.
is when
So-
somebody throws in the towel
Civil.
for
Dude, are you an idiot? Dude?
civilization.
Are you an idiot?
That's how the civilization of Rome fell. Greece threw in the towel, and the horde won.
The civil forfeiture. Oh, God.
The hell, this
Nailed
all happened in Madison Square Garden.
No, so civil forfeiture is the idea is this. So say you're on your stoop and
Okay.
the cops come over and they're like, okay, we think you're selling drugs out this house. We are going to take your house because it's evidence of a crime.
Okay.
So
This is the microcosms of eminent domain. This is like
Gotcha.
the smaller, not the same. I just mean like if
Okay.
you remember a micro, like we're taking this. This is the government.
yeah,
We're
it's the same.
taking
They're
this.
taking it.
This is a little different. Yeah, but please go ahead.
it gets really different at this point
Yes.
because what happens is they take the house because it's quote unquote evidence and then they put the house on trial.
Right.
Exactly.
How big is this courtroom?
Your Honor, I want to tell you, this house is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the interior is absolute garbage. There's no way this is going to be a credible witness. Maybe you'd be struck from the jury. I don't know anything about law.
That's all right.
No, but I love putting a house on trial.
Well, imagine it was $1 million on trial. Then you have like
Sure.
1,000 bennies on trial.
So they put the house on trial to what end? Like, what do you mean they put the house on trial?
They basically go, okay, house, did you do this? No response. We're taking the house.
Okay. So it's a political ploy. It's not real
Right.
political action in which yeah. Okay.
And
Gotcha.
the city of Philadelphia was stealing tons and tons of money and property by doing this.
Right.
An article came out in the Philadelphia Declaration, a few other papers as well. And I was shocked that they went with her, but okay, sure. And for the campaign, they doubled down on all the stuff that worked for Trump, like the xenophobia and the fear. And the entire thing. There was someone who was here illegally now, please, and I might have some of my facts wrong, and if I am, please fact check me.
Gotcha.
My understanding is someone was here illegally in 2017. They were let go at one point, and then they wound up killing someone. Now that does happen, but the role.
Oh wait, they'd been incarcerated. They were released, or they were detained somewhere and then released.
It's more likely that they were detained than anything else.
Okay.
So what basically is, I remember I was against sanctuary cities for a while, and then I learned what they actually were.
Mm-hmm.
And for anyone who's not familiar with a sanctuary city is, like, oh, I guess they're letting illegal aliens everywhere. Like, well, no. What they do is this. Say you have 5 people. Say you have 2 people you can arrest for a crime. One person is actively stealing a car. The other person is just walking around, and they happen to be here illegally.
Right.
And a sanctuary city, they're going to go after the person who's hijacking the car, not the person walking down the street who's here illegally, because they know that the person here illegally or undocumented or whatever term you want to use. I personally, I think old terms.
It's essentially a harmless crime.
Right. Well, yes. Yeah. Essentially it is. So the idea is, well, if we let this person go about their business, we have more resources so we can actually go after someone who committed a crime. And the other side of it is that person who, if you saw a car broken in and you see that person, you talk to them and go, do you know who sold this car? If they're not worried about being deported, they're going to help you.
Right. Okay.
So it's not like, at first it's like, oh God, that sounds weird. And then you hear about it, like, oh, that's all that really is. So the person was here. I think they didn't have any priors. Again, please do not quote me on this. I'm just trying to remember this off the top of my head. And they kept saying, well, this is what happened because of Sanctuary City. It's like, well, no, this is the exception to the rule. Like,
right.
That's not how that actually works.
That's right. Okay. And I've heard that. That's usually, believe me, that's one of the big ones that my uncles get all up in arms and like, he shouldn't have even been here. They had him locked up and then he got out and then he, killed that kindergarten class when he'd just been put away. It's like, it's just the one guy you forget. Like literally any restaurant you eat at in town, you're kind of supporting illegal immigrants to a certain degree.
Well, I thought you were going to say at some restaurants let's go with.
Well, no, I'm talking particularly the suburbs. Everyone I've worked at, it's pretty much everywhere. It's just it's a lot of a hidden immigrant class. I don't know. Let's get off this.
Okay.
So I'm a little curious.
Yeah.
What got you into this in the first place? But give me a little bit. Where do you come from? What's your life story?
What, politics wise?
Well, yeah, but I want to know what led to Larry the person getting into politics, and I want to know his background. So where you come from? What's your story?
That's a song lyric, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm just a fucking wordsmith, man. Everything I say comes out lyrically.
So what it was for me was it was actually September 11th. So at that point, I'm mostly watching cartoons, just like any other.
How old are you, September 11th?
Oh, I was gonna say 16, like any other 16-year-old, mostly watching cartoons.
Okay, I was picturing a much younger.
Yeah, no, watching cartoons.
Wait a sec, you're watching cartoons at 16. That's a school day, young man. That was a Tuesday.
Well,
no excuses. Okay.
All right.
Dude, I would no comment that. I'd 100% as your PR guy, as your elected official, I would definitely no comment.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Client's a flim-flam man. Don't know whether he's coming or going.
Yes.
Was he watching cartoons? Was he maybe trying to board an airplane somewhere? Got back just in time to watch a pup named Scooby-Doo, which is very much not an age-appropriate show for a 16-year-old, but...
we can... Yeah.
Well, in the sense that a pup named Scooby-Doo came out in 1988, and it was 2001, so yes!
1988?
It was like 1988
I
or
remember
89.
watching that when I was really young.
That was the thing. It blew my mind because I kept looking at it. And one thing you didn't tell them is I'm also an artist, but sure.
Sure, look, fine. I asked you what to call you before this,
I know.
And you said political agitator and founder of the Proud Boys, and that was a joke.
Well, I'm just glad you didn't call me late for dinner.
Oh gosh, we need to. This is jumped. The
wow, you are.
You need to rein this in.
I think you are very much a Republican if you can pull off a fucking uncle joke like that.
That was upsetting.
Okay, so oh god.
Neil, working hard or hardly working?
Yeah.
So I have to go back and have them go down a peg here. So you asked me.
I know we already forgot because it was September 11th, but could you go back to that day and tell me what about that day you thought was going to spur you on to political life?
Well, it's actually at that point that I was mostly watching like cartoons, playing video games, like any other 16-year-old, I guess. And then I'm at school, I hear about this, and I come home, and then I'm just glued to the TV watching every news network to find out what on earth just happened. And it was just, I mean, obviously it's incredibly traumatizing for everyone to go through that, and watching it and understanding it. And you know what, since it's measurable misery tour, I'll mention this. I was seeing a therapist at the time, and I had a therapy appointment that day.
Okay.
And I think, to quote the great Lewis Black, we all had that one moment where we said, well, there goes my plans.
Yeah. No, I think 9/11 is a good excuse to change your plans.
Yeah. So
sorry, honey, I can't make reservations. 9/11, you know.
It was just messed up. So I'm watching all the news, I'm following what's happening, and I'm watching everything. I'm watching CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. And back then, no one knew, like, Fox News was just a regular news channel at that point. So fast forward 2 years, like, I am just obsessively watching it for years and years and years periodically. And at that point, like 2003 came along and the Iraq war started to build up a little bit. I tried to get to, my first protest was going to be in 2002 against the Iraq war. And I had a teacher talk me out of it.
Okay.
A college professor, as they would say. I was in college, my first year, and I had a conservative Christian teacher for one of my classes in art school of all places in Center City in Philadelphia.
Oh, just tell them it's a holy war. I mean, it kind of was.
Yeah.
It's not wrong. It is. So yeah, you should have been like, it's a holy war, dude. I'm going there for Jesus.
Well, I didn't know what to tell him at the time.
Right.
Like, I'm still learning all this stuff. And he's like, well, do you really want Saddam? Are you really going to march against Saddam killing all these people? I'm like, well, no, because that's bad. So I guess I won't go. Then a few months later, like, I realized, okay, that's a bad idea. I'm going to go to this protest. And I started going to more protests and marching against the Iraq war. And then I got a Not My President shirt with Bush on it.
I hated that shirt so fucking much. Continue.
Well, do you like my other one with Trump on it?
Yeah, no, it's again, that all came down to I was 14 when 9/11 happened. So just imagine a bunch of 16-year-olds you don't like anyway wearing shirts that say, you know, not my president. It's like, that's not how this works.
Not my president is a denial of reality. I mean, it's
it's
unfortunate that it's one of those things when it only sits there it's the same. And I would say the same thing for Make America Great Again. That slogan is ridiculous. It is very silly, and it goes back to a very similar campaign in which we also were, not great to minority groups, or really just to a lot of people in the country. So I agree. I think both are crazy because once you start denying a reality, you're just slipping slowly off to one side or the other. Yeah. Well, it's just a problem.
Saying not my president is your president. It's the equivalent of yelling "You're not my dad" to your dad. Right. It's like, no.
Yeah.
But I am. Shut up. That your music is terrible.
Right.
Listen to Pink Floyd.
I would say the caveat is.
They're both trying to build a wall. All right. So.
Hey.
I apologize.
All right.
Continue.
Hey, you thought my dad joke was bad.
Yeah, I know, dude. Someone's got to pick up these pieces.
But I guess the exception would be in 2016. Neither person who became president actually won the popular vote.
Sure.
Yeah. That's true. Well, wait. Obama didn't win?
I said 2000.
No, I thought you were saying between 2000 and 2016.
No, everyone actually did. So, hey, apparently he did enough job. Good enough. Anyway.
You know what's funny? Obama showed up on TV recently. And just even watching, I was like, it feels like he was never president.
Right.
Like, it felt like everything just got kind of pushed off the table the moment he was gone. And he's just like, who's this? I vaguely remember you from somewhere.
Right. It's like a dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at this point, yeah.
We just had a cool, laid back, smart black dude for 8 years.
Who, expanded drone strikes and made sure that crony capitalism stayed in place. So, I mean, yeah, dude.
Listen, I can't be totally against it, though, because at the same time, if you're the president, you got to get your hands dirty in some way. Like the crony No, you're getting in the business of fucking, you're going to have to kill people.
I mean, it doesn't need to be that. It doesn't need to be expansion of drone strikes. Right. It doesn't need to be, especially kind of under the guise of American society really not paying attention to it, actively making sure that they didn't. They would release press statements about bombings and stuff, or not release them, but they would do it at the middle of the night. They wouldn't even make sure that we bombed them. Tell them, but don't tell them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Not even that. 2013, Rand Paul went on the Senate floor having the filibuster about the drone strike.
Filibuster.
Well, but that was one of the best moments I think we've had. Like, I don't like Rand Paul, but this was amazing. So what happened was, it came out, it was a report that Obama had used a drone strike to kill a U.S. citizen without trial or charge.
Obama himself, he was on the controls of the drone. He was controlling it.
Obama himself, like, there's that fucker Martin.
His tongue's out. Come on. Left. Sorry.
That's okay, man.
Continue.
It was the guy who was the American jihadist, like the American Taliban dude, if you remember that.
Well, we hate nothing more than an American Taliban dude.
John Walker Lind? That's not.
What?
I don't remember the guy's name.
You?
It was like this.
You're dying. Just drink water. I'll turn off your mic right now.
Okay.
Yeah, don't get poisoned by one of those vape pens like everyone's been telling me.
Yes.
The great commander in chief has told us they're poisonous.
Jesus. We gotta keep on track.
Okay, fine. So the drone strikes happen, and it's like, what? And it just so back to the normalization thing.
Right.
Where we've gone from here? It's just come out that they've basically cemented that that's okay U.S. policy. The commander in chief is allowed to kill a U.S. citizen without trial or charge, and it really did start under Obama, but now it's been expanded under Trump. And that's the thing that's terrifying right now. Like, a lot of things that started innocent, quote unquote, innocently enough in one way or another, like things you think are otherwise not. I mean, that's a horrible way to put this. I guess what I'm trying to say is things that started at one point got ramped up under this guy.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how. I mean, obviously it's bad.
Obama, that is, or Trump.
Obama,
Trump.
both.
Well, both actually.
Both. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This absolutist thing is just, again, it makes me the most infuriated. In the same way that, like, people talk about Trump, I'm like, or people talk about Obama, I'm like, also not a great president in terms of what we're dealing with now. Sure.
Yeah.
We don't feel like we're assholes in the world. I mean, we already knew we were assholes, but we were like the assholes who walk into a party and be like, oh shit, that's America over there. Damn, America looks good.
Big dick swinging.
It looks all right. You know what I mean?
You don't like them, but you respect
and then some,
them.
and then Iran comes in and was like, fucking America's fucking a piece of shit. Hey, America, it's nice to meet you. I know, it's cool.
I could just see Iran being like the jealous, like, friend of the girlfriend.
Right.
Like, I don't know why you hang out with that guy. I treat you so much nicer. Do you know what he said about? You know what he said? You know what he said about Ukraine?
Hey, Iran, how are you? It's good to see you.
Hi, U.S.
It's a pleasure to see you. You look great.
Yeah, you look fine. I was just talking with.
All right, I'm gonna go over here and make more money. No, but yeah, it's very interesting, and I don't understand why we have that kind of sense, but it has been ramped up, and I think that once, I mean, would you agree, Larry, that once we never brought back the executive power after 9/11.
Exactly.
Right,
we
never reined it back in.
Yeah, we never reined it back in. And then we tried to, before, if I'm remembering this correctly, we tried to when Obama was coming in. And I don't know whatever happened. It was one of those things where it was like, yeah, we should rein it back in. And everyone looked around, and then another news cycle came on, or a football game. We were all like, I don't know, whatever.
Exactly.
He's going, let him go, baby. Run, Obama. Like, it's like, I don't know. This is bad.
Right. And it was like Democratic House, Democratic Senate, and then a Democratic president.
Then
like
the metadata scandal also happening. Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
And
of course.
I was out there on the front lines for the NSA protests when they took place in 2013 too.
Right.
Because like, yeah, this isn't okay. Like, there were a lot of things that weren't okay, and we have to call them out when we say them.
So I want to draw some lines here between, so 16, that happens. Is anyone else in your family kind of politically active spurring you on, or are you just kind of talking to them about it or anything like that?
That's a good question. Unfortunately.
Thank you. I worked very hard on it.
Well, unfortunately, most of my family's actually passed away at this point.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
This is like last night's show. I literally did crowd work, and 2 times I ran into dead kids.
Wow.
2 times. Well, here's the thing. I said this under the words. I said, do you have any children?
That's what you get.
I'm not trying to be.
That's what you get for doing shows in Newtown. Though.
Yeah, no. Hey, this is Hatboro. What does it matter? But the 2 times I did that, and it just happened again. So, no, but I'm very sorry to hear that. No, I'm very sorry. But yeah, 2 dead kids. 2 dead kids.
At like the weird little nerdy.
I said, have you? Yeah, do you have how many? Oh, children. Oh, how many do you have? She said 2. And I went, oh, okay. What are their names? And then she goes, well, one's dead. The other's name, I was like, whoa, whatever. And then later on, another person was just like, she said earlier she had 3 kids. We went back to her, and she goes, oh, Yeah. No, I have one son who died of an overdose. And I went, all right.
Oh, wow. Comedy gold.
This is. I just look at the crowd. I was like, hey guys, we've had a lot of fun in here. Actually, you guys have been great, and a lot of positivity. But there's also a lot of sad death in here. Yeah. Like you guys are riddled with death. And let's move on.
Okay.
But I'm sorry that they.
But to your point, did anyone?
So who were you looking up to? Was there anybody going there with you, or anybody kind of spurring you on, or mentors?
What kind of? I'm thinking about it because
kind of threw a lot of questions at you.
No, it's all good. It's all good. My mom was a little politically active, not very, but a little bit. I remember we had an argument about the first election I ever got to vote in. Like the first general election I ever voted in was the 2003 mayoral election, which was John Street versus Sam Katz. And shit.
I don't know either. Wait, John Street. I remember he was the mayor of Philly.
Yeah, Jesse's a wrestling guy, so you have to be like John Street and Dave Katz coming to the stage. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be watching wrestling later tonight. So
nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember at that point John Street basically said he said, and I quote,
this is a Philadelphia election to clarify.
Oh, yes. Yes. This is 2003 Philadelphia mayoral election.
Gotcha.
John Street was running for re-election against Sam Katz, who was running for the Republican nominee, who was running as a Republican again for the second election in a row for mayor. And John Street said right before the election, he had an FBI bug in his office. And he went out and said, those who contribute to my campaign are more likely to do business with me. I said, this dude just said he takes bribes. There's no way I'm going to vote for this guy.
Right.
And me and my mom disagreed.
Oh,
I was
gotcha.
like, really? So I voted for Sam Katz, and unfortunately he lost by even more in that election, which stinks. And that was the last time we had a real election. Honestly, that was the last time we had a real election in Philadelphia in 2003. We haven't really had one since. Everything has been the Democrats are winning or running. They win. That's it. We need real elections in Philadelphia again.
Sure.
And to answer your question a little bit more, when I was a kid, 1996, I actually drew political cartoons for my mom. It was like Clinton versus Bob Dole.
Okay.
And I actually drew a bunch of them because I wasn't into politics, but I was interested in that.
Uh-huh.
And that was really interesting. But I got inspired to do that because I had a cousin who, Swinton Scott III, who.
Wait, how do I know that fucking name?
Because he has directed episodes for Futurama, The Simpsons.
Okay.
Family Guy.
And that's your cousin.
Yes. He directed the episode where Fry's dog dies.
Hey, can you get us in touch with him? Or...
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I probably could, actually.
It's a joke. But yeah, no, sure.
But
that's amazing.
Yeah, he drew like some political cartoons, and I saw them when I was a kid. Like, oh, that's
very
really
cool.
Neat.
Yeah.
So I always had like an interest.
Did you like to argue with your mom?
No.
Okay, so that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering in terms of your argumentation skills of early on, you found like if you were like your mom disagreed with you at that one point, but like before that, your mom's got a weird fridge. I'm imagining you're drawing like political cartoons at the age of 6. She's like, yeah, they're Larry's. We're a little worried about him, to be honest. He wants the mohawk, and he's drawing political cartoons. So Rage Against the Machine, guys.
He said he wants a Bob Dole cake. I don't.
Bob Dole.
Where do you get such a thing?
Just I'm picturing, sorry, just him listening to clips of Ronald Reagan. Well, I have to say, dude, this fucking shit is boss. Like this is weird music that Larry's listening to. Sorry, everybody.
No,
Divergence again.
I drew political cartoons about how Bob Dole was a liar. So yeah, it wasn't like again angry liberal.
Very strange. Yeah, very strange happenings for
I was
that
11,
really.
So.
Oh well, that's what I mean. That's that's kind of an investment there though, and something that's external to you. A lot of times at 11, you don't find that in kids maybe thinking outwardly. I think you know what I mean. Like well, they're usually very self-absorbed because the world is so new a lot of the times through a lot of those ages, and you're just like this fucking liar.
Well, let me ask you guys this. So Greta.
No questions to us, only to you.
Greta.
I know nothing about her, but Greta, you don't know about Greta?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Greta is a very just type in.
You have failed us.
Yeah.
Is this like Chad's?
Type in Greta UN, and we're gonna pull this up. This will be our video this week. So Greta.
Not Von Fleet.
No. Yeah, UN speech. So Greta is a little girl from Sweden.
Oh, sorry. I know
Who's
exactly
very
what you're
angry.
talking about. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, this is on YouTube, so it's gonna get pulled, probably. I think.
Oh no, it was
No,
officially
because it's but dude, it's
it'll be
it's
fine.
like Associated Press.
This is the
Yeah.
Guardian. Whatever. Okay, hold on.
So
Yeah. Commercial or
One
something.
Greta
wheel,
rides a wicked
one wheel.
skateboard.
Yeah. So
Don't
let's
you're going
see.
to enjoy your one wheel.
All right, hold on, everybody. You guys are not helping with the dead air right now, but that's fine. You guys.
Larry, I like your shirt.
Why, thank you.
Yeah,
I also
Motorhead.
like your shirt.
Thank you. I forget what I'm wearing. I was watching a Fulci movie this morning. As a matter of fact, I was watching The Beyond.
Ah,
My girlfriend did not care for it because
I'm hoping.
it doesn't make any sense.
I've never heard of it.
All right, is this angry moon face ready yet?
That's why I'm doing it on the wrong one.
Ah.
New board. Sorry,
What?
everybody.
Wait, can you pause it real quick?
Yeah, sure. And I'm gonna put it over to the display so they can see what we're seeing
Cool.
too.
Because I'm looking at it and it says,
Global warming is. You talking about that?
right.
Global
So,
warming is the long-term rise in the
Right,
is
all-
the long-term rise in the average temperature of the Earth's climate system. It is. Sorry, good.
it's a fact.
Yeah.
And I remember someone said, well, they're censoring our videos. They're by fact checking, doing basic fact checks on videos. Like they were like, here's a screenshot of some guy who's a climate denier who doesn't understand that climate change is actually happening. And there's a caption underneath saying global warming is an event and it's actually happening. It's like, oh my God, they're trying to censor people. Like, it's a basic fact check.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If it weren't for the fact that fucking a bunch of idiots believe them, then it wouldn't be a problem. Unfortunately, it affects public discourse overall.
Yeah.
All right, let's watch this girl lose her shit.
You might want to go back to the start there. There you go.
I do remember. I love it when she lectures adults, and it's so
Right.
wonderful.
Oh, also, somebody told me she took a sailboat over
Yes.
the ocean
Yes.
for this.
Yeah.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here.
I hate
I
this.
should be
girl.
back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope.
Sorry, I haven't
How
actually
dare
seen
you.
the video.
Yeah.
You can pause it right there.
You have
I haven't seen the video, and I haven't realized that this young lady delivers 100% scowl the
Yep.
whole. Or
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she's struggling with. I mean, she's not struggling because she clearly can speak English, but it's not her first language. You know what I mean? So she's like,
they teach her pretty good.
you
in
know,
Sweden.
yeah, definitely.
Well, it's not
definitely.
that. It could be she
Or maybe it is her first language.
well,
Sorry, go ahead, Larry.
no, that's okay. It's actually been reported that she has a very mild form of autism.
Yeah, she's like
Oops.
Asperger's.
Yeah, which is like I know people and that's awesome. Like
Sure, that's
it's a
not
lot
a big deal.
like for your average person to go in front. I mean, you guys know this. You're comedians. Like,
Sure.
For anyone to go up in front of anyone to say anything, it's freaking terrifying. So it's like more power to her.
It's normal to us.
And it's amazing to me that
The
like
UN? You think you wouldn't be shaking at the UN a little bit?
Rush at the UN.
Hey, how's it going, Iran? How's it going? Remember us, America? How you guys doing? Oh shit, India.
how you
Hey,
doing?
India.
hey, Belgium, I'm really thinking about getting a gun. What do you think? Good idea, bad idea? Yeah.
That's an actual part of a bit that
Yeah,
I like
that's
that
what I imagine.
he tapered in there.
Oh, I couldn't do the circumcision joke in front of Somalia.
No, they'd be all upset about
They'd
it.
be all well. The white
These are
people
hack
are all
jokes. These are
upset
hack
about
that
it.
we're doing now.
No, these are great jokes.
These are great jokes. Oh,
You're
okay.
talking about the basis of my act.
I'm just gonna drink some water while you're guys
Please
talking.
feel
fine,
free.
that's fine,
Please
that's
feel
fine.
free. I'm gonna turn off your mic.
Now
Now you can't talk until there we go. The water's complete. There we go.
Neil hates water in the mic, so
Well, it's a thing that happens. I just want to, if it's happening, I'd like to
Oh, of course.
minimize it for the listener.
But it's like here's the thing. So I remember this, it was awesome, and then there's a death metal version of her speech,
Oh,
Oh,
right.
I've heard about
and
that.
she's
Okay.
totally behind that, and they made it a single, and the money's going to Greenpeace. Like yes,
Nice.
Nice.
So, but
good. The money's going to eco terrorists, and
Right.
about
Yeah.
oh. But
Wait, I want to watch a little more of it.
Oh, I thought we were
no,
done.
No. If it's done, don't worry about it.
I mean, the
okay.
thing that blows my mind is the way people have been criticizing her. Like, oh well, she doesn't really believe in this, and
What?
she's crazy. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
oh my
Right,
God,
no, I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is somebody whose parents had been like,
Oh, that's
okay,
argument.
good night, sweetie. The globalists are gonna ruin
Right,
your
that they've been
future."
putting her up to. Well, it's the same thing with what that was Alex Jones's kind of whole thing. It's
Oh.
like the kid actors and stuff.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Their
The
parents put them up to this. It's 100%. It's like the new thing now is like if something is factual, there's been wonderful ways to get just like they're actors. Like you just say anyone's an actor now. They're just like, no, their parent put them. If they're under the age of 16, they're lying.
Right,
They're
which is also-
100% a liar.
That's also just a weird thing with like, there's a whole generation now that like knows exactly what they look like on camera.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you ever watch like home videos from like the 80s? Like,
Oh, yeah.
You see it come up and it looks up at somebody and they're first like, yeah. Hi, Bob and Diana. Hope your marriage is a real winner.
Yeah.
It's like,
Nothing to
But
it.
now we're so used to having like cameras everywhere.
yeah, we know what we look like on camera. Everybody looks a little bit more seasoned. I have no training whatsoever. I've come across fucking dashing on that.
Not the right camera.
That's
Not
right.
the right- I'll go there. There we go.
Wherever I point is the right camera.
And then you looked over
Right.
there. And then, okay, there we go. We got that act out.
But to your point about
Good
you're
job,
11,
everybody.
like you're 11, you're into politics and stuff. Like
Mhm.
it's amazing. Like 16-year-olds are understand this stuff. Generation Z knows their stuff, and it's awesome.
Very true.
In fact, craft fair on this last Sunday, someone comes up to my table. We start talking, and it turns out like they're probably still in high school knowing the person, and we start talking about Trump and the impeachment process and all this other stuff, and they understood what was going on and everything else. And I remember when I was 16, I kind of knew, but not really. And they're at that point, and it's like that's awesome. Like we have a generation of it's awesome it's awesome in the sense that we have a generation of people who are really paying attention, really understand things, and want to do things.
Who isn't dropping the ball like the millennials?
Yeah.
No, I would
Those
just.
darn millennials, man.
Hey, dude, I would say that in that generation that I am, I guess I'm the younger ones. I think.
We're millennials.
We're the
Yeah,
young. I'm trying to
I'm a
remember.
millennial too.
Yeah, no, I'm just remembering that. Just remember, it's a wide spectrum. It's a wide range. I can't, and they split it into two. I think I'm in the younger ones.
I think I think we're the older millennials.
We are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, so I just found that I think like our generation in expansion really just did social, like cultural things. We didn't really get into. I think this culture, especially the ones coming up, are either two people. They're either completely ambivalent, like they're completely, the phone has captured them, internet has captured them, they are completely gone. It's only like stars who they care about, like
Right.
it's, you know what I mean, or it's the other ones who they're very politically active.
Yeah.
They're very, they're online, they're trying to read everything and understand everything, just to be like, oh shit, right, we're kind of on the brink, everyone in front of us has no idea what the fuck to do. And that's why you have like, what was after the Parkland shooting, was it Parkland?
Yeah, it was the Parkland kids.
Who was like, they were like, hey man, this is ridiculous. Again, she was someone else. They were like, her parents are putting her up to this about the guns. Like, no, they're not.
right.
She was in the shooting.
Parkland was the beginning of one thing in particular that I am very happy that journalism is starting to do now. I do not know the name of the Parkland shooter off the top of my head.
Yes.
That was the first one that I remember. They are actively trying to not say this kid's name and publicize it, and I like it.
And I remember reading, there was a video that would go around after every mass shooting saying, here's what you do and what you don't, the media should and shouldn't do after a mass shooting. And the big one was, don't talk about the shooter. Don't glamorize the shooter. You talk about the shooter,
Right.
the shooter becomes a hero with a bunch of jerks.
Well, that's also just us as a society. We're such a storytelling culture that, like, if the guy gets caught and doesn't get killed, it's always like, oh, I can't wait to find out his motive. Like, the motive is always fucking stupid and barely there.
Yeah.
Like, I remember everybody like, I can't wait to hear everything about the Boston bomber. We learned nothing about that kid.
You're right. Nothing.
We found out he was a cutie patootie. That's all we learned about him. Thanks a lot, Rolling Stone. That was actually pretty crazy. I don't know if you remember that.
I got the issue.
Yeah, but no, not only that, but it came out. His name was Jahar Sarnav. There were a bunch of like tween girls who like started these websites. Like, he's too cute to commit terrorism.
Oh God.
But
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind a little Taliban beat. Fucking tiger beat.
I like too cute to commit terrorism.
Al Zawahiri's top picks for cutest up and coming jihadis.
He wants to make sure you can't drive. Do you want him to?
The mujahideen you bring home to mom.
I mean, I can't imagine that they did that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what happened now that they grew up.
Sure, I mean, it's a microcosm on the internet.
Well, I remember watching, getting the cover and everything. I was like, I don't think they were trying to glamorize him or anything. It's like, just like Bin Laden or anyone else, you put the photo on the cover and like, this is who it is. The person just
they did put kind of a dreamy filter on it, like bedroom.
I don't know if they actually did or if that was just the photo that they had.
So wait a minute.
All right,
We're
good
a
pull
little.
up.
Hold on. I just want to say, I'll pull up whatever you want me to. We're a little ways in.
Right.
We got to make sure to stick to the format.
I know. There's
I know
a
you
way.
know.
There's a
Because
format.
I could talk politics. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I can talk politics with Larry all day because I love this kind of shit. It's my favorite thing, but we're not doing Yeah,
Right.
it's my favorite thing. I would love to know if there was, I mean, you know, I think we didn't hit hard enough on the 2016. Like, you were pretty destroyed. How dark did you get in those times? You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, there
so,
we go.
So, yeah, I mean, and also, what do you want me to pull up, buddy? I apologize. The dreamy eyes of the Boston Bombers.
Oh,
Put in Boston Bomber, Rolling Stone.
there you go.
That's all I want to say. I want to take a look at this hunk who takes hunks out of people.
There you go. Type that in.
There you go. Let's do image. Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, that is a sexy boy filter.
Yeah, a little bit, isn't it?
He looks like-
here,
he-
I'll pull it up for the.
He looks like Rusty Wright if he hadn't been dropped on his head, actually.
Yeah, a little bit.
I can see it a lot. Yeah. That's a
yeah.
comic friend of ours.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, Rusty Red if he's keeping most of his hair now.
Oh, no, that's good. Oh, God. Hey, buddy, me and you.
What? Yeah, crushing
Ain't
it.
going nowhere. Love it.
But yeah, you're right. That is a very strange. I'm wondering. Well, no, this picture had to be. This picture's from something.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
what?
the thing.
This can't be right. Oh, this is fake.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Photoshop.
I'm all about that. No, pull that back up again.
Yeah, that is.
A popular promising student was failed by his family, got great abs, fell into radical Islam, and became a monster. Dude,
But this is from some. This is like a phone picture or something. This has to be. It's just
Right, that's like a
It probably
selfie.
is.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
that's why I wasn't mad about it. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
they're using a photo that they have.
And also, they played into how old he was, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
yeah, he was
clearly,
young.
yeah, he was very, very clearly very young. So, I mean, yeah, it's also Robin Thicke on the, Jesus Christ.
Oh, got two monsters who got away.
I know, what a piece of, no. Gotcha.
But yeah, it's, in 2016, like after the election, I was really despondent. I was like, what's going on here? And I remember I worked with someone for a few weeks on a letter because it was basically my open letter to the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
And I started by saying, I did a mea culpa. I was honest. I said, I messed up. And I talked about how at first Trump was just funny. Like,
Was the Republican Party ever surprised that you were African American and that you sent them a letter? Because no, I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like I'm talking about black Republicans and what? What did I do? Can't we talk about everything on here?
okay.
I'm talking about
Neil
the
gets
idea.
a little carried away from time to time. I'm better throwing you under the
I
bus.
love this. No, I'm all right. Shitty joke. But I was wondering if, like, you're writing these letters, we didn't talk about who you thought you were in the Republican Party, if you received any, problems on that. I'm wondering, okay, so tell me, what was the open letter about?
Well, first I gotta mention this because like I 2007. I'm gonna go
Yes.
back. 2007. I did a radio show. It was on Word and the WURD, the radio station. here
Oh,
in Philadelphia.
okay.
And it was about reparations, and I said 2007. I was like, I'm not sure I'm in favor of it. I think it should be a private thing, not government, because ancestors are there. I still don't know exactly how I feel about it. That's on the record. Like, I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm still trying to make up my mind about it. I go on the show, and this actually happened, and I'm still mad about it to this day. Which is why I have to say that I'm going to say something to you in a moment.
I understand.
Prepare yourself.
I will.
So 2007, I'm on the show, and there's this lady on the line and a few people in the studio, and we're talking about getting a mandatory African American history course in Philadelphia schools.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure exactly how I feel about it. I think it should be integrated with everything else, but that's also my take, and I can understand it being elective overall. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fine as an elected.
Right? Like it's that's pretty neat. I like to learn more.
I got to be honest, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. I'll say after. Please
Okay,
continue.
thank you. So at one point, someone said, well, all white people secretly hate blacks.
Jesus.
And I was livid.
I got a hold of Jesse's blog.
I was livid when I heard that, and I wanted to scream so badly
right.
and curse them out. But I'm like, I'm running for mayor. I'm on a radio show, and I have to put my best foot forward. And then I finally said something when they got to me saying, well, so-and-so said this, and I got to say that hasn't been my experience. And we talked about it for like a minute.
Right.
But it wasn't as forceful as it should have been, and I really wish I had just gone at that point. So there are black Republicans. I know, but still, I got.
You're right.
But you see why I have to do this.
Yes. No. Here's the thing that I'm not either party. Let's just say
Understood.
This is stupid. Right.
I'm an independent myself.
What I do get, which I find which will make a record scratch in my head, is, and they did this fairly recently, especially with Trump. Trump's definitely done. I love black people. And then they will just be like, look at this black person we just brought out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Republicans,
Look at my
how are you
African-American.
doing this? Call black people that support you. There are a bunch. You
Yeah.
can just go, and they don't have to, you don't have to be like, hey, could you talk for us? They'll probably be more than likely to be like, hey, I don't know why I'm up here right now.
Right.
But
Did you feel
it's very crazy.
Did you feel when
That
you
was
were
that joke
involved
about.
you were involved in the local GOP? Do you feel like you were tokenized at all? If you
No.
were kind of like, look, here's our.
You don't need to do the
that's
accent.
our
He said
side.
no.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
I just he was like, nope. And then you were just like, well, now wait a second. I still got a little.
It's okay though. Like I'm just a quick note because I know my situation, which is this. So 22nd Ward, 26th Division, that's where I'm from here in Philadelphia. And the leader of the 22nd Ward is Calvin Tucker and a few of his family members. Calvin Tucker is black himself, and he's been a ward leader for I don't know how long. He's done a decent job. That's all I can say about that. And it wasn't like, but I will say this, like I've met some black, you know what, on this note, I'm going to mention this too. So earlier this year, there was a woman who was running for mayor on the Republican ticket. So there were two people running for mayor this year for the Republicans.
Okay.
One is Billy from Philly.
Am I supposed to know who this is?
Let me put it this way.
Billy from Philly, mayor.
I won't say the line myself, but look up Overkill, Welcome to the Garden State, and then look up the line, this is my friend Billy from Philly, okay, and I won't say the rest.
I've seen those signs actually.
You have?
This is Brian Callen, comedian Brian Callen up here. I have it. Okay, Billy Ciancolini.
Whatever that spaghetti name
Okay,
is.
because I can't pronounce it, so I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't feel
you're
bad.
not. So it was this guy.
Right, so
I'll
Billy's
bring
running.
that up.
The other person running is a black middle-aged woman from North Philadelphia whose name escapes me, but I met her last year.
Black middle-aged Philly
Yes,
woman mayor.
I will pull that right up.
You know what? If you type in like Philadelphia,
Yeah, I'm gonna find it. I'm just
2019
kidding. I'm not gonna type that in.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
So she was running, and I met her last year. She seemed okay. And the problem we talked about this too. The thing we talked,
Republican.
yeah.
Oh,
ahead.
how do you pronounce that? Goggins. Her last name is Goggins. Daphne is her first name.
Daphne.
Sorry,
yes.
when I see that, I never know what to do with it. I know I'm silly. I'm super dumb. I'm dumb.
And Daphne's nice. Like she's definitely a hardcore Trump supporter, and
Okay.
that's good for her. Like we don't agree, but that's fine. But we're talking, and like there is a feeling that in the Philadelphia GOP that there is some tokenism happening. Not like a lot, but a little bit.
Okay.
Because the party itself is very heavily Catholic, like it's old school Catholic, which is.
Sorry, I need to go call the lung up. But
What is happening? Yeah, I couldn't talk to you.
I'm
Just,
sick, I'm
just
sick.
get, yeah.
But
get out of
throw
here.
in there. I want to
Yes.
hear. I want to hear how your politics and being involved politically has affected your love life, and I want to hear that at some point.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. Get out of
boy,
here.
that'll be
Jesus
fun.
Christ. Oh, what the hell's happening with you? Get it together.
He is suffering
Oh, dude, these vapes are really
vape poisoning. Bum bum bum.
Just, I only have Larry on the. Yeah, you pulled him out. Oh, great.
No.
Just get out of here.
I'll be back.
I have him on the camera and just shut up. Oh my God, dude.
Whoops.
Could you get it to? I wish the audience could have seen that. I just didn't want to show it. It's such a nightmare.
Well, that was nice of you.
Multiple times. So yeah, we have a ton to talk about. Okay, so you didn't feel, which is good. I didn't imagine you did, especially in Philadelphia. I feel like there's probably, even though I'm sure. I mean, so what is your experience with in Philadelphia? Do you at least feel that like, okay, the majority of Philadelphia, if you have the demographics being a certain percentage black, they usually vote liberal. Right.
That is
usually
the
the
case,
left.
yes.
Right. So, in talking with them, I mean, and in this a case with some of your family, like they voting opposite you, they feel completely opposite. Do they vote liberal, or are they more liberal candidates?
Well, you already know where the family stands on this.
Right. Well, no, I mean, even your mom. I mean, is your mom still around when she was? What was the dividing lines? Were you? I mean, you were liberal, but then you went to the conservative. Like, it's kind of mismatched there. I'm wondering, your mom and anyone else you knew, even school, like your friends and stuff. Like, where you find yourself odd man out some of the time?
Well, do you know what the odd man out for me was like? Everyone knew exactly the thing, which was I'm still a raging liberal.
Right.
That never changed.
Gotcha.
It was just a party affiliation.
Sure. Yeah. Well, how did you figure out that? Let's get off that. You know why? Because that question was, you did answer that.
Yeah.
When did you realize that the liberal parties in Philadelphia were corrupt? Like you were just like, you were seeing something over and over again, and you were just like, I don't want to be it. The liberal party in Philadelphia, ugh,
No,
gross.
yeah, right. Like the thing that got me was the Democrats was basically the 2003 mayoral election.
Oh, that was the one.
That was like, okay, this is the start of it. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought.
What were some of the nails in the coffin for that, and then future ones?
I was about to say. So there was Donna Reed Miller, who was city councilwoman for the 8th district. I remember she was running in 2003, so it would be 2007.
Yeah.
2007, she was running for re-election, and I think she made it through that one. And a lot of people were just mad. She wasn't very effective. There was a scandal involving Germantown settlement, and it was and I guess it was just a progression. Like that was part of it. And I kept seeing like things weren't changing in Philadelphia for the better. We kept electing Democrats, but things.
What were some of the things that you wanted to change specifically, if you could mention that?
No, that's a great question.
Sorry, yeah, I know.
No, yeah, of course. I think it's more now. I can think of a few things. Like back then, it was a lot of things I wanted was like Now it's definitely like, and these are.
Sorry,
That's okay.
When you mentioned 2003, right? Mayoral, it has its own wiki.
Oh yeah,
that's what I noticed. Yeah, that one was. I had the list of mayors for Philadelphia. That anyone who wants to ever look that up. The 2003 Philadelphia mayoral election. Mayoral. Excuse me. I'm saying memorial. Mayoral election actually has its own Wikipedia page, which I won't kill on, but that's not a good sign.
Oh, why? I'm looking at your third result.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought it said Larry West Productions for a second there.
Did it?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. So every election actually has its own Wikipedia page.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, most of the more of the modern ones. But anyway,
sorry. Yes.
That's okay. So these are ideas. I was thinking about running for city council this year, and I decided not to at the last minute. But these are ideas I wish people would steal. Like I want you to, if you're on city council or you're running for city council, please steal these ideas.
Gotcha.
One thing I wanted to do was homes for the homeless. So in Salt Lake City, they actually have a bunch of homes, and they said it's cheaper to put homeless people in an actual home than to have them on the street or put them in shelters. It makes more sense, and it worked. And then we know in that liberal bastion that is Salt Lake City, Utah,
right?
Like it just makes sense. I wish people would do that in Philadelphia. We have someone who's passionate about homelessness. But what we really need to do is we need to end it by allowing people to stay in homes if they're trying to get help or they're looking for work or anything like that.
Right.
Like guaranteed housing on that level would be very effective and would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about the hypocrisy? Well, not the hypocrisy, I should say the duality that some people think that is if you give them, it's always the thing of like we've seen percentages and studies that show, of course, as soon as you pull that person out of their conditions and at least give them a home to stay in, you see them do much better. I mean, you see it, but then at the same time, everyone's going to come back and you'll be like, they're leeching. There it is. And I go like, there's not really a lot of evidence to show that that's what's going to happen. You insinuate that because I think you're much more pessimist than what you think it might be. But I don't know if there's studies to bear that out.
You know what I mean? The Salt Lake City thing has been going on for a very long time.
Okay.
So there probably are some studies to show whether or not giving homes to homeless people on the condition that they have to at least try to do something works or not. Like I think it's a solid idea. Another thing is like that's a big one. The violent crime problem, there's no magic bullet, no pun intended, and poor choice of words, but I'm going to go with it. There's no simple solution for it. It's a multitude of things. Like you have to do things like community policing. You have to work with people.
I think the answer.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Turn on his mic.
I think the answer is an actual magic bullet that doesn't work when bad people shoot them. That would fix crime overnight. Just saying, maybe we need to invest a bit more in our magic sector.
Well, yes, of course. I don't know why we're not.
Yeah, of course.
But
and Larry, don't ever tell me to turn up his mic again. I will. You will not be canceled quicker. I don't even know if that's possible.
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
I know. But yeah, things like that. Like there's no simple solution to solving violent crime, but we can do a lot of things to make it harder or make it less likely to happen.
Sure.
Like people like affordable housing, like free housing for the homeless would definitely help in a few situations. Like think about it this way. The reason I'm thinking about the last job I had, and I remember coming home and I was furious at one point. And I just remember coming home from Center City, like taking the train, like I'm mad, Like, and think about it. Like, think about people who are making minimum wage and they're going from one job to the next and they're in a bad mood. Raising the minimum wage will actually help with violent crime because who wants to be angry if you're actually able to pay your bills?
Right.
Like, if basically ending violent crime isn't easy at all. But things we can do is a few things we can do is make life better for everyone. And when you're happy, like Norway, Netherlands, all these.
Don't compare us to them. We're not them. Oh, I hate these arguments. I hate them. I know they say it, but I hate
like
them.
how one of the arguments always comes up is like, we're a lot fatter than them. That doesn't work here.
I hate it. Why are ideas apparently centric for a place? Like, I mean, I was like, it's an idea. You can take a piece of it.
Right. Like,
it's not complicated.
It may not be a one-to-one comparison, but the idea of a starting point. But the reason you don't hear about a lot of violent crime is because they're happy. Happy people don't tend to commit crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how you solve it. And it's insane. But you keep asking about 2016. I keep not answering that question.
Yeah, no, I know. You've been skirting around this issue, and honestly, I'm waiting to nail you down. Oh, so I'm getting into political talk. Are you going to die, Jesse Dram?
With any luck.
Okay, cool.
I'll call it drop in. Hopefully that'll.
No, this is fun. I mean,
I figured you were fine because you didn't just crawl your way back into the room.
Sure.
No.
Here
Walked in under my own power.
That's good.
So how has being so political and politically involved, has it affected your love life? You ever meet, because there's some cuties on that fucking Fox News side, some icy blondes that like I just can see in their eyes like, ooh, I'd never be able to please you, but I want to try.
I think they're just people who are totally fine with saying things that they don't agree with.
Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about if they're. Were you about to say ice queens? I thought you were going to say like icy queens.
If you think about it, Republican America has become very much like we're just being nice to Grandpa and not arguing with him.
Yeah.
I would say, in terms of my personal dating life, it really hasn't affected because there really hasn't been anything to affect. In terms of my political ideology, like I've always been the same, so it's not really a problem. But I will say this, but
you never dated somebody with like different opinions or anything like that?
Jesse's projecting.
Yeah.
Just
saying, you never dated some bitchy hippie who can't shut her mouth and just appreciate that, like, listen, you have no idea how bad I was.
No, you know what?
Love you, baby.
No, nothing on that level, but I've had a couple of first dates where it's like, it's obvious politically we're going to disagree, but that's okay. Like I can't really come up with a really good example, but what I can say is this. So kind of anecdote I can actually use on the show. So last year when I was running for Congress as a Republican, and that went as well as you imagine.
Sure. You think they're going to let a Mohawk in Congress, bro? Maybe a white Mohawk. I'm kidding. But it's like he's got to have cancer. It's got to be a weird cancer, like old dude.
There's some photos of like Ronald Reagan with a mohawk because he got like a brain surgery and had to like get half his head shaved.
Wow. Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Look up Ronald Reagan mohawk.
It's weird. Okay, I do. I am.
How many of these are gonna be photoshopped though?
Yeah, really.
I mean,
I know. All right, so
it's gonna be the cover of a Casualties album. I'm like, see, told you.
Continue.
So I'm at this petition signing event in somewhere around 2nd and South. Doesn't really matter where anyway. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking to people, and I'm talking to this one person, and she's very attractive, like it's very cute. Like, oh wow. And we start talking, and I was really into Indecision at that point. Like hardcore band from New York, Indecision, like they're super, super liberal too.
Okay.
Right. And we're talking. And One More Time, the song was One More Time by Indecision.
Okay.
And I got really into it because there was this, I don't know if you've seen this video. It's like Mo Sislak teaching his, it's Mo Sislak from The Simpsons, and he's teaching this breakdancing class.
Oh, yeah.
And in one version, they had this hardcore song, like, what's that song? It's Indecision. One More Time. I'm like, oh man, I'm just super into it. Mm. So I'm at this Republican petition party, and I'm talking to someone, and I'm like, yeah, she's asked me, like, are you in any hardcore bands? Like, yeah, I'm in the Indecision. Like, oh, yeah. And she had it on her phone, like, oh, my.
Oh.
It's like, that's really cool. And I didn't get her name. So I go home, and I looked at the people who went to the event, and I kind of figured out who it was. Like, all right, cool. Went to their profile. The first thing is her shooting guns and how great Trump is. I'm like, this is not going to work, is it?
No, it could have been worth pursuing. What would have been funny? That's the photo I was thinking.
Oh my!
And let me pull that up so people can see. There's a nice little Ronnie Reggies. Well, I have to say, I thought my hair would be more luxurious.
Wait, did you ever see the conservative punk
You cut it out now. Now I'm calling it a day.
I'm trying.
You cut it. You wrap it up. Put the teeth back in.
My teeth fell out.
Jeez.
That's happening a lot lately.
Yeah, no, you're real gross. God damn it, dude. We've got a. God damn, he is in the government. Will you back the fuck off right now?
I'm sorry.
You gotta fucking pull yourself together, dude.
I know.
You know we have plans to take over the government one day.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
How do they feel about just your overall rockness?
Wait.
Trying to get so you're in an elected position, like
Yeah.
you're kind of a badass rocker dude with a motor shirt on.
Mohawk.
Yeah. It's like anyone just kind of like, what is happening?
Not really.
That's great.
I'll say this. Like God, I can't believe I get to say this. There's one good thing about Trump. He made it okay to be yourself when you run for office.
Sure.
Like,
There you go.
I know, again, this is one of those, oh man, that sounds terrible when you take out the soundbite, but that's actually kind of a good
You're saying Trump plus Mohawk, unbeatable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Unbeatable.
Absolutely gonna do it.
Make Mohawks great again.
Gonna come out on those debates, fucking circle pitting, and just like elbow Biden in his old face.
Oh. No, but the thing that actually is nice, like 2007 when I was running for mayor, I was like 22. I'm wearing a suit. I saw the Mohawk, but I'm like, I'm terrified. Like, I hit it fairly well most of the time, but it was so nerve-wracking, and it's like you always have to be on. You have to be the most professional person you can be. But I think what happens is I'm looking at someone like Cory Booker or Beto O'Rourke, and I'm going to leave.
Well, hey, Beto O'Rourke was a bit of a rocker too. He used to play drums in a band with like the singer from At the Drive-In. I almost said At the Gates.
Like, that's cool on and on itself. Like, cool, run for Senate, but it's like when Michael Nutter ran for mayor and he was mayor, he kept going, everyone would bring up Mix Master Mike because he was a DJ and that was his thing.
Oh,
like,
cool.
Like, that's cool the first time you hear it, but stop bringing it up. It's like, I scored 10 touchdowns in a single game. Like, good for you, Al Bundy.
Right. Yeah.
But why do you have
That's a lot of touchdowns in a single
I mean,
game.
true, but
No, it's just that plays into the whole thing of like this is this is about popularity contests.
Right.
You know what I mean? If
Right.
you're mentioning shit like that, it's like, all right, we're done. I'm done with you.
And it's not even that. It's just like, it's neat if you mention it once or twice, but stop bringing it up after a while. Like, or the Andrew Yang photo of him dressed as a punk. Like, that's neat. I don't need to see it 20 times. How on earth did I get to this tangent?
Yeah, exactly. I know it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Listen, we gotta get into high school. We gotta get into some stuff here
Yeah.
because the format of this is very important to me.
Okay, let's go back to your format.
Jesse is terrible, so he's done.
I'm
and just
sick. I'm out of
awful.
commission.
Yeah. So in high school, you're dating, you're not dating.
I had like one person I dated in high school.
Were you the full rocker that you are now? Like, are you someone who was into Motorhead at a young age?
Oh, well, you know what? That's actually a great question.
Stop answering everything politically.
No, because it was a great question.
No, I love you. I just love this. It's a great question. I'm gonna think about that for a second. I love it. You're ready for it. Dude.
Actually, that is my default. Whenever I'm not sure of something, I go, that's a great question, and then I will just try to come up with something from there. But in this case, no, that actually was awesome. So back in high school, I was into rock and metal. But I didn't have like a leather jacket or anything, and I kind of had the shirts. Yeah, that's right.
You weren't a greaser.
I wasn't a greaser yet.
No, okay.
No, but my senior year, I kind of got there. And my first girlfriend, I remember we were hanging out, and she said, "Have you ever been to Hot Topic?" I'm like, "I don't know what Hot Topic is." Like, you've never been? I'm 17.
What?
It's 2002, and then she introduced me to what Hot Topic was, and I loved it. I was like, yes.
Oh, how could you, dude? It really was awesome back in the day.
It was like
really
2002 to like 2010. It was great. Like all your God stuff was there. It was decently priced.
All your God stuff was there?
Goth.
Oh,
Goth
sorry.
stuff. The goth stuff was very overpriced. Like they'd have those fucking boots that like came up to your asshole, and it was.
What, the Demonas? The Demonas were.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know my brands. This is my wheelhouse.
Wait,
right
did
here.
you ever go to like goth night over at Shampoo?
Yes.
I went there a few times. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some dirty girls. some dirty girls
Ugh.
and
move off him.
older
Let's
men
move off
who are
him.
very comfortable hitting on them.
I will say I had a love-hate relationship with Nocturne. Like I know Patrick, he ran it. Patrick is a good friend, and this
What's
is,
Nocturne?
Oh, right.
That's where the Goth Night.
Yeah.
thing was.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
over at Club Shampoo, around like 8th and Arch, around that area.
Terrible name for a club. Sorry. Continue.
Well, that was the thing. Everyone needed shampoo to go there because we were all filthy. That's
No,
what-
it's a bad name for a club.
Okay, fine.
I mean, it's a shitty. I mean, the clubs are supposed to be named shitty stuff. I'm not saying it's like supposed to be better. I mean, the Roxy's not bad.
But
I feel
this
like.
was also very specifically an under 21 club.
No, I know the Roxy was the same thing.
yes
I
and
think
no. That was the thing. Like that was the reason I had a love-hate relationship with this place. So they had a 21 and over floor,
Right.
and then the rest of it was all ages, and it was all.
Sorry. Continue. Don't
Yeah,
stop. It's not-
Yeah, it was just weird. Like I could never get into it. Like when I was under 21, I would go. I was like, this is okay. When I was over 21, like, why am I here?
I feel like a pedophile.
well,
Look at Jess. Jesse's excited. Yo, dude, you better stop.
Yeah.
You're not on camera again, but stop it.
yeah, it was like, well, I don't drink, so I don't know really why
Yeah.
I'm here. And the music was quieter downstairs. I could actually talk to people, which is kind of nice. I met one person there, which is really cool. So yeah, it was a neat place.
Okay.
And Trip Pants. Oh, Trip Pants.
Wait,
Is
were
that
those
what
like
those are called?
the bondage pants where they had like all the fucking like
Yes, with all the
ropes?
buckles and ropes and everything. And for the last 5 years, I haven't been able to wear any of mine because unfortunately, I have gained way too much weight to wear them.
No, nothing sadder than a chubby goth. I say that as a reformed chubby and reformed goth.
Reformed
People
seems
people have been
strong.
telling me left and right that I look like I'm losing weight because my girl's been making me eat vegan a lot,
Ah,
and it
cool.
just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I actually, what was it? I think I want to say I met the guy who invented Trip Pants, but I think I'm wrong.
Okay.
No, up in New York.
What a
there's-
brag.
Hey, I'm proud of this.
Hey there, you see those pants that were popular with a small minority of the world 18 years ago?
I knew the guy. Who
I knew that
made
guy.
Yeah, that's right.
What's up? I'm Larry. What you seen? How you doing?
But it was actually cool because for a while I didn't get a good discount, but I could get them a little bit cheaper. Trash and Vaudeville. There's this guy, I forgot his name. It starts with a J too. Yeah, I want to say it's Jesse, but I know I'm wrong.
Were you into goth girls or what was that
Still am.
Okay. I appreciate that. They get harder to find.
No, they don't get harder to find. They just start hanging up in the ceilings at night and they're hard to find it.
I was gonna say something very terrible.
Don't say it now.
No,
Don't
I'm
do
gonna
the
say
thing that
anything.
you've always been doing. Don't
I had
say
a-
it.
They get harder to find and that there's less of them. Luckily, let's just say they're easier to spot.
I don't get it.
Bigger.
Wow, that's sadder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
What, you don't have a
Holy
cricket
shit.
sound effect on that thing?
Listen, we are not a morning and I just play it. Bang, 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 bang.
Wait, you know what? I'm going to get to do this. I used to run my own radio show and station for a while.
Okay.
Brags.
Internet only.
Yeah.
Mark,
Okay, the internet only is
Yeah.
a very weird brag.
well,
you know-
I loved it. It was a metal radio station.
Well,
Nice.
while we're talking radio and metal, there's a segment we always do on this show, and that is the depressive, suicidal black metal song of the week. This one I pulled up. The band is Like Desolate, Like True, and the album name, which I love, is Don't Worry, Die Happy. So if we could just play a little bit
Wait,
of this.
before you do, can I do my old I used to do my radio bit. Do you mind if I?
Do you ready about it?
Go for it.
And you can realize why I can't do this as much as I used to anymore. This is Mark Skull on Mark Skull Pirate Radio, coming at you live with the greatest metal around. Today on Depressive Metal, we have Like Desolate, Like True, and off the album, Don't Worry, Die Happy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to go to the concert later. It's going to be a good time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right, this might be the best one we played just because they were smart enough to put the vocals way down in the mix where you can't point out how hilarious they are.
Yeah, this is.
So, and oh god, that album cover is getting dumber and dumber the more I look at it. It's like
Yeah.
a way too short stool and a way too long piece of
Oh
rope.
my, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And the album name is written in graffiti, like it's a dilapidated. Like, good luck finding something that's going to support your body weight in that dilapidated shithole.
Yeah, this is.
bad Photoshop.
I like thinking of those guys always like when they have to talk about something positive, you know, and just how they try to deal with it. I wonder, you know,
little Debbie just started school.
because
They grow so fast.
are they Finnish? What is this? Is this band Finnish?
No, they're all Scandinavian.
Oh, okay. I wasn't
Mostly.
sure.
I just assume.
I gotcha. Okay. I just look, 'cause I was a goth.
This is what socialism gives us.
Because like I was goth, but I wasn't you know, like I never was like actively wow, what is the guys from Scandinavia that like did the church burnings?
Black metal.
Oh,
Yeah, but like the actual Lars, I think Lars was
and all that.
You're talking
Yeah.
Varg Vikernes.
Varg Vikernes,
and
thank you.
Euronymous.
Wait,
Yeah.
You know what? I get to say this now. Cancel culture.
Cancel culture. Varg Vikernes did get canceled.
You know what? If cancel culture is a real thing, why on earth is As I Lay Dying still touring?
Listen, but here's the thing. It is still cancel culture because other people who could easily just go their whole life and not see the thing they don't want to see, they want to block the people who do want to see it from seeing it.
Sure.
You're not gonna push me on this one.
Oh, that's good to know that you. Why do you say that at the end
'Cause I'm
to
just-
show that you're not open to other ideas?
Because I'm just standing my ground. It's a thing. It's a thing we
Yeah,
do.
yeah. No.
But the thing.
Talk about Trayvon Martin some more. Is that the right? Oh, that was the wrong one.
Oh.
I will say the one thing about Trayvon Martin, I didn't like when they were reporting on that, and they put up the photo of him, and it's a photo of him like as an 8-year-old. It's like, you're really kind of
Was he
trying to
14?
build that narrative. He was like 16. How old was Trayvon?
About 16, 17, something like that.
It shouldn't have happened.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
right there in the reporting immediately, it was like, look at this cherubic black child who was
Right.
just killed. It's like, it's.
They do that with every white kid that's ever died.
Right, that's
Of
the
course
thing.
they
The
do that
fuck is
too.
your problem?
What?
No, I just mean like that's what you're calling it on. It's like every white woman who's ever died, she's always an angel who everyone loved, and they show her prom picture.
Wow.
Right.
Well, what? You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that was the thing, like, you know, there was after that, then they kept going with like the worst photo possible of the person. Like, here's them all looking like a gangster from a rap album.
Well, see, I was actually thinking of that when we were looking at the Boston Bomber one. And it's like, ooh, if I did anything terrible, what would be my social media photo they were going to use
Right,
for me?
and in fact, that was actually a thing for a little bit, which is what photo will they use? That was actually a hashtag. And yeah, what photo will they use was a hashtag for
Okay.
a while, because there were so many unarmed black people getting shot, and they were using bad photos, and it's like,
Oh, yeah, no, those
Right.
aren't fair because you can totally find photos of me in fucking corpse paint holding a sword.
I mean, the historic one was Reagan, right? Was it Reagan who had? So this is when
Willie Horton.
Willie Horton. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. That was a very big one. I mean,
Yeah.
that was Willie Horton was. I mean, a grievous thing. Like they all knew. You know, I mean, I don't want to say dog whistle, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was basically an outright dog whistle.
It was.
to call out exactly. It was like he had been an offender previously.
Oh, it was very related to the
Right.
thing we were talking about with the immigrant, where he was
Right.
somebody in Massachusetts where Dukakis was governor.
Right.
They had like a weekend furlough type thing for incarcerated people. If you had good behavior, you could go home on the weekends. Well, on one of those weekends, he like fucking raped and murdered a girl.
Right.
So
And it's like I keep looking at all these other countries and how they do criminal justice. It's like I think it. You know, I'm gonna touch third rail here. So
all right, we're getting down to it.
wait, and,
Neil, play the third rail music.
Got it. There we go.
So it came out this week that but down in Texas, that woman, the police officer, shot an unarmed black guy
Okay.
in his own apartment.
Right. So the story that happened here. Her name was
This
Geiger.
story is-
Rebecca Geiger, was that it? I know the last name was Geiger. Pretty much, she was an off-duty police officer, returned home to her apartment complex, thought she saw a guy going through her apartment complex,
Right.
pulled her gun and shot him, and in the worst case of this happening ever, going, "Oh, this isn't my apartment."
Yeah.
Is my face red and you're a carpet.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, she got actually held responsible for once.
Which is
How
important.
could she not? There's no.
She's such an angel.
I mean, to let that go, I mean, it would have been so
Oh, God.
insane.
And the thing is, like, I always talk about this. When it comes to Black Lives Matter and, you know, criminal justice reform, there's just so many moving parts. Part of it is the judges. Like, we don't talk about this enough. We don't talk about the judges really matter. And think about it. You go to your polling place, you have to vote for judges. You're like, I don't know who any of these people are. And if you're like me and I have done this, you close your eye and you just kind of randomly hit as many buttons as you can, open your eyes and goes, okay, I guess that works. Because we don't know. And that's a problem too. Like we need to know who our judges are and who's running because that they decide how the punishment is going to go to a large degree. And then I look at another half of it is the prosecutors. I'm going to mention this one because it's the big one that kind of leads into what happened down in Texas. Baltimore. So what happened in Baltimore was the prosecutor, it was a Freddie Gray case with the rough ride in Baltimore. This guy was put back in a police squad, a police wagon.
Right.
In Baltimore, and he got.
They found him with like a broken neck at the end of it.
And he died because of it. And it was a practice in Baltimore of doing rough rides to basically, mess people up before they got there, which is messed up in so many ways. So the person dies, and the prosecutor goes for first-degree murder. And
yeah, prosecutors fuck up on shit like that right there.
You kind of already. All right. So first, and for the listeners who aren't sure why this really matters, first-degree murder says you have decided you're going to kill someone.
Right.
There's no if, and, or but. You said I am going to do this to that person.
Right, and you plan it. And if I recall directly, second degree is you intended to do harm and it went too far. And third is like you were being irresponsible and you fucking killed somebody even though you didn't mean to harm anyone.
Right. Then it's like manslaughter.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Third and manslaughter are just like
kinda,
different. They're different degrees.
Yeah.
So first degree is what is the big sexy thing. Like, first degree murder. Like this is what you really want because it has the harshest punishment and it's basically the most middle of all the punishments. Like this is the one where you're going to go away and we might even kill you for it. But that wasn't applicable in this case. You have to prove the person said, I have this intent of killing this person by doing this practice.
Isn't that what Zimmerman got off on too? Because they charged him with like first degree when it really should have been more like they would have had him dead to rights as second degree.
I think I have to agree with that. And it was just I remember watching the case and I said, the guy's going to get off because you didn't do this right. The Baltimore case, there's no way they're going to find first degree because you have to prove they did it. And I can understand in both cases why. In Baltimore, part of it is, other than the fact that it's been going on for so long, and you knew eventually something was going to happen, like the prosecutor probably thought, I want this to stop, and this is how I'm going to get it to stop. Awesome, but that was the wrong charge.
Right.
So the person gets off, and it's terrible, but it would have been manslaughter all day. That would have been conviction, not even a question. So. She got first degree murder. You have to prove she had the intent to kill this person. I was like, I don't know if that's going to stick. You have to prove that.
No, that's not.
Like,
if her case is, whoops, I didn't know it was this apartment.
Right.
Like,
you can't prove intent.
It's really.
You can only improve intent for her wherewithal. Like she doesn't know where she is. She thinks she's defending herself. She's a moron, obviously, who's not paying attention to. I mean, you were a cop. What the fuck?
And it's the highest of high bars.
Right.
And to make it even harder, you're talking about an officer of the law. And officers of the law, we basically have said you have the right to commit first degree as long as you don't have intent.
This isn't my IKEA furniture.
But basically, we said, okay, you have the right to kill someone if you absolutely possibly have no choice.
I don't think we have that. Is that true? We haven't grievously wounded some. This is what This is what I have heard, that cops are more likely to kill you. Shoot you dead, body mass hits ever. And Adam, I'm on a guy I know is a cop for 8 years in New York, right?
Right.
So he constantly was like, yeah, no, we don't do that. We don't ever shoot anybody like in a leg or try to or bother at all, like a shoulder
it's
even.
Shoot to kill.
We're shooting to kill always and forever. And I go like, well, what about the whole imminent danger thing? And he goes, this is kind of what I get from it. It's just like, well, it's imminent danger if I feel like it is. And I was like, well, how do you judge the variability of that? Like when that happens in the gray big area of am I in imminent danger? I'm thinking of a traffic stop where someone seems to be reaching for something. They haven't pulled anything, but they're reaching for something. And then you were to open fire, which we've seen in some cam cases.
Right.
And then
that was Alton. Who was the one? It was the guy who was on video. They caught. Right. He was saying, "Sir, I have a gun. I need to let you know."
Right.
And then the cop
bang through the window. Yeah. And we're just going like, I felt an imminent danger, and I don't understand the feel an imminent danger.
Right.
I don't understand how we came up with these laws and these rules that don't really that just go like, why not wound him? Why not pull a gun and say that, hey man, I'm gonna put one in your leg? In some of these cases where I don't know, I don't understand why I think it's a bullshit excuse, and I think the cops, as he's talked about it, and how he said it, I think it's bullshit. I think
if I can be a little cynical,
Go ahead.
I'd honestly say a big part of it is probably like dead men tell no tales.
No, I know, exactly.
And dead men don't really. They're not able to sit up there and like be injured and be pitied.
No, you're not wrong. I think because that's been talked about, and they talked about it as a rule because it also becomes very convenient when you can't have a case if they don't show up about these kind of. And I don't want to be that cynical, and I hope that again, I'm not stating facts
That's okay.
here.
No, I understand what you're saying though. Like that may be part of it. And the reason I'm saying that we as a society have said you have that power is because we have either by hook or by crook, we've kind of given them the leeway to go, okay, we can't handle this ourselves. We're giving you the authority to do certain things. And that's supposed to be the worst case scenario. Like if nothing else worked, this is what you do. But to your point about like shoot to wound, like why don't they do shoot to wound? I've seen a lot of stuff about this.
Right. My
understanding is they don't do shoot to wound because the person could still attack them.
I understand.
And it's like,
but there's
it's
go ahead.
I don't want to see anyone killed unless there's absolutely no choice. Like it's I look at all these cases like, no, this shouldn't have happened. And I think about the dirt bike on Broad Street where the person was shot and killed for riding a dirt bike. It's like, I don't like dirt bikes, but
those dirt bikes are pretty fucking annoying.
Yeah, it's like,
oh my god, to just have a pellet gun and strafe a gang of wheelie kids.
I mean, I can't say I'm in favor of that myself, but I understand.
It's a BB gun. Getting it.
I'll say they're incredibly annoying. They're illegal in the first place too.
Right.
But it's like, no, you don't. Like the person, I saw the video too, and the video clearly shows the person walked away, and that's when they were shot. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, you're not allowed to use lethal force in that case because there's no imminent threat. And so this person, so police officers by and large have this thing where they're rarely going to get a murder warrant charge because that's kind of what they're expected to do to some degree. That doesn't mean it's right in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, like, we as society have said this is kind of like we kind of get it. So
they do get a bit too much of it though.
Yeah, and like
the bulk of your job is fucking hassling teenagers, for fuck's sake. Let's be honest.
Well, in some parts, yeah.
Well, hold on. We're talking a lot about death here, and this might be a good place to start bringing us in for a landing.
Well, let me at least wrap this part up because I said third. You need to. I said third rail, so. Uh-huh. So she got convicted for murder one.
We don't know what third rail means, right? or do we? I don't know.
I'm gonna guess is politically the third rail you don't touch because there's no way of winning it is police corruption. Am I right?
No.
Damn it.
No, not this one. No, it's like
crying white ladies.
So she gets convicted for first degree murder, which is unheard of, and it's good because that's. I think second degree probably would have been the better charge, but first degree. You intended, and based on what had happened, like the text before and afterwards, it's like, yeah, there probably is reasonable reason to think there's intent. People were mad about her getting 10 years. I am weird about this. So this is the third rail for me. Like, I don't believe people should be in jail for forever and a day. Period. Like, the only people who really should be in jail for forever and a day are people like Charles Manson. The problem with our system is we're so much on punishment, but we don't do reform.
Right.
And the idea that this is the exception to the rule is the thing I have a problem with. I don't like the idea of people being in jail forever because at one point they need to come back into society. Like we can't just lock people away and call it a day. Like that's insane. And it's definitely disproportionate. Like they're like some black guy does that. They're probably gonna be locked away for a very, very, very long time. Warranted or not, it's like that's this in proportion and that's wrong. But I don't think people should be put away for forever. So like Varg Vikernes, as horrible of a jerk he is, he got what, 10, 12 years?
Wait, Varg Vikernes?
Yes.
Varg Vikernes got 21, which is the max you can get in Norway.
Right. Yeah, and then they even extended a few times because they had no choice. Like
also he tried to escape.
It's like that's like
bad motherfucker.
No, I'm just thinking of a lanky fucking nerd guy. You
can't
get a hold of me.
Look up Varg Vikernes. Yeah, exactly.
I can always Varg Vikernes is. I thought.
No, it's Vikernes.
No, it's Vikernes.
Funny for a Satanist, his birth name is Christian Vikernes.
Well, no wonder he changed
Varg,
it.
Varg.
Oh, Varg.
Yeah, it'll come up from that.
Just
I
type
believe.
in Varg, they'll come right up.
Vikernes. Yeah, just a skinny little fucking
yeah,
dork, and that's all him after he got out. Yeah, the far right, that's him
Oh,
when he
yeah.
got locked up.
But that
See
don't
this
come
one?
rolling, so-
Yeah, look at this little precious angel. Yeah, again, they
Aw.
reported that they thought they had too much. It was too good there. That was remember they
Yep.
thought that it was too good. Life was so good and it afforded them so many
I
privileges.
wish it was like a dungeon.
Yeah.
And I was hired.
It's like their entire system is based on reform, and like that's what I want in America. So I don't agree. Like 10 years, oh god,
Yeah. Holding a mace. Sorry for just the audio listeners. Just him holding a mace like a bat, just
If
being
people
like,
only
he
knew-
looks very throw that softball.
If people only knew how much this big scary metal shit is all Lord of the Rings nonsense.
oh
A
god,
lot of it is for them.
Yeah.
and it's like no, like 20. We need to go to a system more reform and short sentences, and that's really what I want. Like it's insane that she got a short sentence in the sense that proportionally, like that's insane. Like the way we do this doesn't make sense. And I've seen other people like mine go, we're mad that she got a short sentence, but we also think that it's to the point of we should have shorter sentences, period.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's never gonna get passed in America.
well, I think we're at the point where we're getting, you know what? I always say Trump did two good things, and I always give him credit for two things. One was the gun bill that he passed.
It was recent, right?
Right, it was very recent. I can't
Okay.
remember the name of it right now, too. Bump stock.
Oh yeah, the bump stocks. Yeah.
Like
That
that's
was-
awesome.
Very
credit all day.
obviously needed to happen a while ago. Yeah,
And
of course.
another thing I'll give him credit for is
I only passed because I thought they said Trump stock. It's soaring as always.
Very true.
best stock ever. And the other thing is the criminal justice reform bill that they had been working on for forever and a day. And it has it tries to get rid of mandatory minimums. It tries to reform the system. Like that's what we need.
I wonder how much the opioid crisis might have assisted with that, because now we have a lot of white people of influence who are having, family members locked up on drug charges.
Yeah, and that's been like the thing that's been weird to me. Like I remember growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s and hearing about people strung up on opiates in one way or another, like crack and all this other stuff. And it was on nightly news, like, oh, that's sad. But no one did anything. And then opioids became a thing about 4 or 5 years ago. And like, I guess they're going to treat this just like they did before. And then like, no, this is a real problem. We have to do something. Like, that's awesome. I kind of wish we were doing this before in the 90s.
Well, I will say, and this might sound apologist kind of thing, but I do think that's not exactly a one-to-one. I've heard people say,
I'm with you.
once it hit the white neighborhoods, then you gave a shit. Like, well, yeah, but the thing is, the opioids being dealt is not leading to like hardcore gang warfare in the street for control of that market. That was what made crack so dangerous, was, the gang element that was the distributors of it, like fighting each other.
Right, but it's still like we didn't do anything to help the people who were addicted.
Oh, yeah, we
that's the
didn't
main
do
thing.
anything for them either, but.
And I that's why I wish we had done. Like we need to do more reform stuff. All right, I'm totally off whatever format you're trying to do.
No,
we're
gonna-
talking about death. We're bringing it in for a landing.
No, we're gonna fix the world, and we're gonna do that one death at a time.
That's right. That's right.
So I've stumbled into saying it multiple times because you said that a lot of your family's passed away. But what was your first experience with death? Unfortunately,
It was back when I was a kid. The first thing I really remember in terms of someone passing away was of an aunt I was really close to. And I think she passed away when I was 6 or 7, maybe even 8. And we went to the funeral, and that's all I really remember at this point. And she was survived by her husband, and we still go to the husband's house for years. And we would go for like New Year's Eve and a few other things. It was really fun. And then he passed away when I was 13. And I didn't take a lot of things. There were 2 things I wanted. One was this weird instrument that I cannot remember what on earth it's called. It's a giant piece of wood with strings on it, and you plug a string, it comes up with a note.
A guitar.
Not a guitar. It was just flat. Like it was a really flat.
A dulcimer.
Maybe. I think it
I
was that.
think it might have been a dulcimer.
So I got one of those. I was like, that's neat, because I always played around with it as a kid. And he had a copy of a book called The Hot Zone. The Hot Zone is a book about the Ebola virus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know why I was drawn to it. It was like it had a really neat looking cover, I guess. and I picked it up, and I still have never finished the book because every time I start reading it, I get sick.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, really? You just have no questions? Why do you get sick just because of just the book?
Well, yeah.
just
What's
gives you the
the
heebie-jeebies?
descriptions?
I don't know. Like, I guess got like a cold or allergies or something.
Well, do you have anxiety at all?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because this guy's ravaged with anxiety right now.
What
Like,
up?
you look. Was the coughing giving you anxiety? Was it making you feel like you were dying?
No, believe me, I've been dealing with this a little bit day by day. And fucking sucks.
Okay.
Day by day.
Day by day. Now we're getting pulled.
I hate both of you.
Yeah. But no, it's not the anxiety. My throat just sucks. That's all.
Okay. That's good. I'm glad that you weren't having an attack.
What do you think happens when we die?
That's a
No, don't say that's a good question.
It is. But it is.
It is.
It's an excellent
He's
question.
running for city council.
No, it's not even that. It's just I've actually been thinking about this a bit lately. Like what is the nature of life? What is life? Where do we go? Like what happens? Like we have a better understanding of what happens to our corporeal forms. It decomposes and goes back to the dirt and soil after a while, and if we're very, very, very lucky, we get fossilized in one way or another. But I was thinking about it, I think this morning or yesterday, because I was thinking about I was watching Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone is an anime series.
Okay.
And it's about how humanity out of nowhere gets turned to stone. And after 3,700 years, everyone kind of starts defrosting a little bit, and what happens, and they're trying right now, the episode I'm on, they're trying to figure out why on earth some people were able to stay alive and other people just stayed stone and died. And one thing they talked about was energy, like E equals MC squared. We've heard it a million times. And the principle of it is, in order to have energy, you have to have matter to feed off it. So matter feeds energy. So what is energy? And they start talking about how this person was able to stay alive because they kept thinking the entire time. But if you're not able to eat or drink or anything, so they're trying to figure out that part in the mythology of the show.
Okay.
But it got me thinking, well, what is energy and how does energy transfer? And if you ever watched the movie AI by Steven Spielberg?
Yeah. Originally written by Stanley Kubrick.
Yes. One scene,
There's a great original Ministry song on that soundtrack, by the way. They're in the movie.
oh my!
You didn't know that was
No.
Ministry singing "What About Us"?
I gotta go back and watch it.
It's a great fucking scene.
I've only seen the movie once though because of the ending. So one criticism about the movie is it kept going on and on. It added so much to it. But this is the part that made me think about this, and it's always stuck with me. At the very end of the movie, the robot talks to some aliens, and he's trying to get a hold of his dead mom. And they're like, well, we can actually get you to talk to her because her mind is still energy, and that energy still exists in the universe, so we can kind of get it back here. And that's the amazing thing. Like human brains, the human brain is neurons and circuits. And if you've never watched Sword Art Online, I'm not going to do a deep dive on it. I'll just mention it right now. At one point, they talk about what is a soul, because in the game, they're trying to make AI so advanced that it actually has a soul. And they made characters, like thousands of characters in this game, that multiple generations, they have souls, and they're called floodlights in the game, in the series. It's just mind blowing hearing that. And the idea of energy and what is the soul and what is that comprised of is something I've been thinking of quite a lot. So what do I think happens when we die? I don't know. And I think about energy, and I always hate saying that too. Like I don't try to go into this very often because I hate people who do that. Like, well, there's energy.
Just a very spiritual person.
Very spiritual.
We're all just like waves on a pond.
There's energy. So I try not to. But that's why I mentioned.
Do you want there to be an afterlife?
I do.
Okay.
I honestly do.
That's probably where we should start.
Yeah. Like I want there. I hope there is. In one way or another. I think there is.
Right.
I remember one friend of mine said, maybe he told me what his idea of hell was, because I'm gonna say this, and he's like, oh, you're all about hell and all that stuff, so I'm gonna tell you this. He said, I think hell is when you die, you're shown all your life, and if you're happy with it, that's heaven. If you're unhappy with it, that's hell.
Ooh.
And I was like, that's really deep, and that kind of stuck with me too.
I don't like that. I'm in hell just thinking about that.
Well, I think we all are, and that's the thing. Like, and like the idea of like there's an afterlife. I honestly, in one way or another, I think there is. I never talk about what I think it is, but I will say I think there is something out there.
I hope so.
I hope so. Personally, I hope so too.
Yeah. What would you want your last words to be? If you just
Is that
my president?
Is it?
no, you know what would be it? It's like, all right, Mr. West, do you feel like it's time to go? That was a good question.
Nailed it.
I'm afraid to answer that question because I'm worried that someone's going to go in through come in through the door, and that will be it.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
That's tough. I mean, well, it's good if you think that there's going to be an afterlife. It's if you hope, that's good. That's a good thing to keep with you.
Hope's
I
a
think
good
I
thing
like
to
that.
have.
I probably, you know what? I probably would say something. I probably would wind up quoting Futurama and go, "I request a satanic funeral."
I love that guy.
That guy is awesome, and
I
yes,
can't wait to tell my husband's boo.
oh, I think they were booing the bigamy part of that one.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. All right, well.
That's right. I'm a bigamist.
Okay, so Larry West, bigamist, and political agitator, and if you've learned nothing from this episode, it should be vote Republican. Larry, where can we find you on social media? Do you have any art shows coming up? We actually didn't get into your art that much.
Well, you're not going to do it.
We don't have that queued up, bro.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Sorry.
I thought Jesse was just going to do the song.
Yeah, you just-
Why, I'm glad you asked, Jesse. Why, you can find all my artwork and more at LarryWestProductions.com. I'm also available on Twitter at Mark Skull. Twitter.com/MarkSkull. If you're looking for Facebook, make sure it's Facebook.com/LarryWestProductions.
Fuck yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me
There you
pull
go.
up
All right, yeah, you got it up on
there,
the
sure.
Mark Skull. Is that with a K or a C?
That is with a K.
Okay, just checking.
Although I sort of does it
A
with a
little
C.
bit. We got a nice little site here. UI photography, UI design, graphic design, illustration.
Yeah, this guy, I worked with this guy before. All I have to say is you would be an idiot to not have this guy working at your fucking company. Like, you would really have to not know what you were doing to have this guy not working at your company.
And as someone who has a job interview coming up, I greatly appreciate hearing that.
That's right.
I do have an event coming up. So the Darksome.
Oh, dude, I really like the fucking Circle Jerk cat. I hadn't seen the band Circle Jerks. This is not like the cats playing poker, but
For anyone listening, they can see it. But if you're not listening, it's the band.
For everyone familiar with the band Circle Jerks, there
Nice.
is the Skanker. It's called the Skank, which probably doesn't sound great when you say you have a cat skank, but
Sure.
that's what it is. It's
That's nice.
Yeah, Josh Cohen.
I already said cat Circle Jerk, so I don't think it's any worse than
Yeah,
that.
but I just said skank and then the word cat.
Hey, by the way, you're doing all these benefits and stuff like that, just like to say, you know what brings in the dollars?
What?
Comedy benefit. If you ever want to put it on for something.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. I'll make some money for the Philadelphia GOP. That's right.
Well, I'll plug an organization I'm with. I'm with the Mount Airy Art Garage. I'm a board member there.
Wonderful.
It's a great organization. We do a lot of things to help emerging and established artists, and not just Mount Airy in the Northwest, but the entire Philadelphia area. And I'm really proud of what we've done. We're going to a new development,
Okay.
new phase of our cycle. We're moving to a new building in a few months, and we're very excited about this. We'll be able to have art shows again, and we do need to do benefits, so I'll actually propose it.
Perfect. Once again, I have parlayed this show into a on-air demand booking.
Well, of course.
And I'm always about that.
But I will be doing the Darksome Arts Fest at the Rotunda on October 26th, whatever the last Saturday of the month is.
All right, there you go.
At 40th and Walnut.
All right, cool. We'll definitely have that on the description of this. Neil, what you got coming up?
I'm actually going to be gigging, and I'm going to be opening up for Shea Guerrero, a friend of the podcast. We open up for him in Virginia, so that's going to be really cool. I'm excited for that. That's going to be October 19th, I believe. So I'm going to get some more details for you guys, and that can go to and of course this Thursday go to Nerds with Words podcast and go to the tours. I'm sorry, dates and details section, and you can check out the comedy show at the Pop In in Chalfont, and it is a lot of fun, and those do sell out. So it's only $7 to buy online. It's $10 at the door. Great drinks, great food. You can check all that stuff out at nerdswithwordspodcast.com.
Nice.
All right, at Jesse Dram, at Magic Misery Tour. Right now, my only booking is until December 26th, and that's at John and Pete's, so that's going to be a fucking weird one. But, yeah, that's it. This has been the Magic Misery Tour. Larry, thank you for stopping by.
In my day, we had magical, mystical tours. You're like, where the heck did that come from?
Everyone give a big bye.
Bye.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.